and I look at the things I was really depressed about. It always had to do with something external and material related, meaning a job, money, relationship, car, uh, social approval, some bullshit like that. And I found when I didn't have something external or material, I found myself with that depression feeling, that sadness, like, oh, the self loathing shit. Oh, I'm a piece of shit for not having this much money, or I'm a piece of shit for not doing what that person's doing. A lot of comparison. Um, but when I find it's like what I've done the last several years in battling depression is a deeper level, more spiritual level. And I'm not a religious fucking dude. Okay. I don't go to church. I don't even preach. I don't like any of that stuff. I grew up Catholic and hated it. Never understood why anybody went to church or what they were saying. But, I understand today that people who do that are just trying to get outside themselves and be slightly better people. So with that said, I've realized that it's a spiritual inner thing that's the problem, and that's how you can treat depression. Well, how do you do that, Matt? You might ask. Well, you need to separate yourself from material world and the real world, because you're going to accumulate. There's so much shit. There's so much stuff. And even if you just work and make 30 grand a year, you're doing better off than most. Okay. You have enough money for food, shelter, and clothes on your back, right? But that's not enough. No. And this stems from like a deep-seated programming in advertisements, what we see on shows, TV, what is we're supposed to strive for, but you're not listening to yourself. If you listen to your inner self, your real you, the self that tells you like, that's not a good idea. I don't like doing that. I'm really interested in this. And you stick with that. Even as a kid, I realized I had a pretty good idea of what I like to do. I like to write stories when I was a kid. I was always imagining things. I was coming up with, I loved Goosebumps back then. So I was very imaginative. I at least had an imagine-fucking-nation. I liked helping people too. Like I was always concerned if all the way to adulthood, if I saw somebody that was like either upset, depressed, sad, I would go to that person and be like, what's going on? Talk to me. It's almost like I even thought about being like a psychologist because I wanted to help people at some point. I find that when you get outside yourself and connect with nature, people on a level where you're not thinking about you and you're engaged in them in the now, it takes away that depressed feeling. Because like, how can you be depressed? And people are like, well, there's so many reasons to be depressed. No, there isn't. Why is it in the age of today? It's 2019. We're almost 20 years into the millennium. Technology is crazy. We're supposed to be making all these advances to better our lives, right? I just did air quotes. God, I'm such a fucking loser. Air quotes. Do air quotes. Anyway, so we've got all these advances in technology, things that are supposed to make our life easier, right? Social media is supposed to be connected. Your cell phone could bake pancakes and all this shit, and and whatever. In reality, it's damaging the true nature of us. Before I did this stream, I'm looking outside, and there's a ton of bird feeders out in the yard, right? And I'm looking at all the finches, and the finches get redheads in the wintertime, their feathers change. And then all of a sudden, a little fat squirrel pops up, and starts nibbling on the fucking shit on the ground. And I'm like, fucking squirrels. I like squirrels. I think they're adorable. What can I say? And this little squirrel is fattening up. And then I had the realization that squirrel is gearing up for the winter months. Like he eats and eats and eats and gains that fat because he knows that food, not in this yard, he gets plenty of food in this yard, but in nature, if there wasn't a food source right here, he knows that it's harder to get food in the winter. So he stores up his own fat. so he can live off that fat in case he goes a little while without food. It's like a nature-built system that works for the fucking squirrel. Now, here in the Western world, for the poor women, eating disorders are running rampant. You got to look thin. And if you don't look thin, you need to look thinner. If you're not fit, you're not fit enough. It's like, what a mind fuck of bullshit. And yes, I'm drinking coffee. What a fucking mind fuck of nonsense bullshit that has been doctored in and pampered into everybody's brain. To think that's going to make you happy, an external thing. Like, if you look good, you're going to be happy. No, you need to get your mind right. It all centers here. Mind, body, spirit. Okay. And I'm not religious. I'm not preaching to you. But I could tell you, when I looked outside and I looked at that squirrel, I connected with the squirrel. I go, he's a creature. I'm a creature. We are part of this earth. We are one together. That, if you can't wrap your head around that, or at least entertain the idea of that, then get the fuck out of here. You're a lemming. Go join the rest of them off the edge. Just go. Go pull your cell phone out and go check your Instagram a couple thousand more times in the next 35 seconds. I believe in energies, auras, everything's connected somehow, right? So how do you battle depression, Matt? This is supposed to be a video about it. Let go of material things bringing you happiness, because it is only very short, momentary. Happiness is not a sustainable goal, folks. It's why it's called the pursuit of happiness. You pursue it. It's an endless pursuit. There is no finish line. There is no end. There is no top of the mountain achieving thing that gets you to the point where this is it. This is the peak. This is the glory. This is what we did it for. No, there's none of that. It's an endless pursuit, a constant daily grind. And I find that when I am in the now, caring about somebody else's problems, seriously, and listening to them, I'm with them. I feel them. I connect. It's there. That has worked for depression for me. I've been doing it now and working with people that I don't talk about, because it's a journey for me. It's my journey. But if you want to know how to do it, every time, it's common sense, and you've heard it before. Do something nice for somebody, but without any expectations, and that's it, folks. Let go of all those expectations that you have. Dude, even if you got the fucking mansion with the Ferrari and the cars, something's missing. You're hollow. You're not free. It's not the answer. Your next relationship isn't the answer if you're not okay. Because if you haven't worked on your own flaws and all your own bullshit, that relationship you will just view like every other relationships, and you will take all of that carnage that you had from your past and blast it onto this new person, and that will fail until you do something different. Until you take responsibility for your own actions, your own life, your own decisions. Accept where you're at in life. And from that, know you know nothing. And then the sky's the limit. I collect things, right? And even lately in my collecting things, I go, I don't need this. I like it. It's a fun hobby. I'm really interested in how, anything people create, that they think of an idea and then they manifest it into some tangible physical thing, is so fucking cool to me. Whether that's you're a woodworker and you build furniture, you build your own fucking birdhouse, or the sculpt for an action figure, or maybe you design the plans for your dream house. I mean, that kind of fucking knowledge to me, that's the innovative stuff. When it comes to being innovative, I love that shit, and I respect, admire people, and that's what I look for. I designed an app that brings you bacon. Go fuck yourself. You've done nothing. You know how excited I was like a year ago when I learned a skill for myself on how to build, or at least try to do some dioramas, some scaled dioramas, and I learned how to paint brick and dry brush and all this stuff because I just went on YouTube and I educated myself because it was something that interests me. And then I made a couple of pieces here and there. I never dabbled in it much, but I just wanted to know if I can achieve it. And I did it. Because I saw the work and time that people really put into that shit, like hardcore, like looks like a fucking scene, like a real building, like just that. I like miniatures. I like taking anything, putting it down to scale. I think it's cool. If you give yourself a skill, or at least go follow your passions and interests and fuck what everyone else says, you'll probably won't be that depressed. But if you compare your life to somebody else's, guaranteed you're going to be fucked up in the head. If you don't think you have enough money, you probably don't have enough money, so you're already cognitively fucking yourself in the head. You need to not focus on what you don't want. You need to focus on what you do want. And also, what you already have right in front of you has to be good enough. You got food every day? Yeah, I got food every day. You're doing pretty good. You got a house? Got a roof over your head? Yeah, I got a roof over my head. You're doing pretty fucking good. You got clothes? Yeah, I not the best clothes, but I got clothes. You're doing pretty fucking good. You got a car? That's a piece of shit, but it gets you from A to B. It's how you look at the world. Your perception, your mind. Your mind is so fucking powerful, and nobody knows it. Oh, I should say nobody knows it. The government, the CIA, those guys know it because they designed Facebook and a lot of things to make everything very mind controlling. That's what advertisements are. From even before we all had cell phones in our back pocket, and before the internet, you had magazines, billboards, TV, radio, all that shit that would pump fucking bullshit into you. You'd see a billboard of a pretty lady and go, oh, that's what all women are supposed to look like. And then now it's like the reverse thing where people are like, fat people are pretty. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. There's nothing attractive about that. It's not, and the amount of fat people that there are in this world just tells you like our food's poison. But hey, that's for another story. That's another live stream. Let's stick to depression. Are you depressed? And I've realized there's two kinds of things. You could be depressed, you could be anxious. Anxious at least gets shit done. Anxious, although is very uncomfortable and very fearful, you at least are motivated to do stuff. See, depression, you'll sit there. You'll be a sloth. You won't do anything. You'll like to just sit in that shit. You'll waffle in the shit and go, why bother? You're right. Why bother? For you. See, I've already done that. I've already been to that point where I sat there, did nothing. You got to get off your ass, take a little action. If you think the world is the internet, you're fucked already. This is for the people. I make this video for the people who know something's wrong, but they're afraid to say anything, do anything, because they're so scared of what other people are going to say, think, or do. Fuck what other people think about what you do. It's your life. They're not up here. You're up here. You're your own best friend. No matter where you go, there you are. So remember that saying, because even if you have, let's say you finally get a place and your dream job and that relationship that seems like it's fucking heaven, then what? Life still continues. Are you just going to fucking watch Netflix all day and then you just go on a date night on an endless loop? And I see people do it. It's their fucking life. Work Monday through Friday, and then they're out Saturday, Sunday, going out and spending money and on shit, and then they go home and they do it all over again, and that's living. I'm like, that's not living. Family, connection, principles and values, that's living, man. I love my family. And at the end of the day, no matter what family you've got, I'm sure that there's all bullshit. Some families are really shitty. No family's perfect. They all got baggage, folks. They're at the end of the day, they're the only people there for you. And maybe a couple of close friends. People let you down. That's another thing, too. Even people are an external force. You have to decide for yourself. Do I want to be depressed today? Or do I want to enjoy and be content in life? That's where your mind comes in. Well, how do you do that, Matt? Let go of material things. Ask yourself this question. Even if I got that thing I've been striving for, I wanted this new pair of shoes. I've been thinking about this new pair of shoes. I've been obsessing about this new pair of shoes. I love that new pair of shoes. Then I get the shoes and I go, all right, now what? The shoes are not the answer to your problem. External things are not the answer to an internal problem. The answers, though, are inside you. You just have to unlock them. And you do that by talking about what's going on. Be honest about everything. Don't lie for the sake of somebody else's feelings. Don't lie just to look good. Be honest. You see something that you don't like, you want to go to this ballet? Be like, I have no fucking idea. I have no desire to do that bullshit. Thank you. Be honest. You want to join the gym and work out together? No, I don't. And I know it sucks. Like if you're in a relationship, like you think, well, you can't always be that way. You can't be selfish. You got to do stuff for the other person. To go, no, not at the sacrifice of your own happiness, which again, doesn't exist. Fucking wrap your head around that. Being content is about the most realistic reality of things. Because every time it's moments of happiness. Like when you have a kid, right? You're born in the birth. That's a miracle of life. That is just a moment. That's just magical. That is a connection. That is something spiritual. That is deep. That is that. That is what you're missing out on. Connection. Real connection. Not this shit. Even though I'm making a video, but I guess this is the only way to get the point across. Because I'm not the only one who feels this way. And you want to go deeper into depression? You think taking a pill is going to help you? No, it won't. Makes it a lot worse, folks. I've already done a live stream about antidepressants. It's on here. Go check it out. I talk for 50 minutes, and I don't need to say anything I haven't already said before. But, pills aren't the answer either. That's still an external thing. What if you have... There's the people, the argument, we really have some mental disorders. I'm like, look, man, I was at a point of a brink of insanity at a point in my life where I was looking over the edge into the abyss, and I said, nope. And I came back, and I took a lot of time to work on myself. So to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, you can go fuck yourself, because you don't know me. You don't know where I've come from. You don't know what I've done. And if you want to know, go look back at all my podcast videos and anything like that. They'll tell you, but you won't dig into that. You'll take away what you think you see and then just go with it, because nobody takes the time to dig deep into themselves. Well, guess what? I have. And I tell you, man, when you dive in deep into yourself, fuck. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But this depression thing where you just want to be like, man, I'm an Eeyore. I don't want to do nothing today. I think my life should change, but I'm not gonna do it. I'll just sit here. The fuck? It sounds easy for you, Matt. You don't know what I'm going through. I'm like, fucking name me something. I can guarantee I've lived it, known somebody who's been through it, done it myself, blah, 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 blah. You're not unique. You're not special. Your problems are not anything out of the ordinary. Sorry. For most of the people who bitch, moan, and complain that they have depression or that, they're full of shit. Most of the time, it's just that, they're too scared to say what they really want to do in life, because we live in an age where class and social approval is how they rule you. But what do I know? I don't know anything, guys. I'm a guy sitting here on a webcam, trying to give you... I'm giving you advice because this is what I found works, man. Because I've been like, look, I've got a problem with weight. You're not fat, Matt. I'm like, I've been fat and skinny on and off my whole life, folks. I was a fat kid growing up. I was picked on a lot in junior high. Those 3 years of my life were pretty terrible, and there's no book on how to deal with adolescence. They just gotta throw you out there and hope for the best. But how can there be, you know? High school, I dropped weight, then I went up, then I went down. I'm 65 pounds lighter than I was 3 years ago. And it wasn't because I decided to join a gym and I go, oh, I need to lose weight. No, no. I got this right first. I got my mind right. This is a byproduct of getting my mind right. My mind got right, my body followed because I eventually became willing to eat better. I eventually became willing to let go of shit. I eventually became willing to work out. I eventually became willing to take time out for my mind first, and then this all followed. This isn't because I all of a sudden got obsessed with how I look. I don't care. I used to. I used to be so obsessed with my image. Even when I was fat, I was like, "Oh, does my hair look okay?" And then when I look back at my haircut, what a fucking asshole I was with this stupid ass over gelled spike hair. I looked terrible, and I thought it looked good. Talk about a delusional motherfucker who couldn't see that that was ridiculous. I'm in the best shape now at 34 years of my life than I've ever been, even when I was a teenager and I ate good and worked out and ran and all that blah, 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 blah shit. You want to know why? Because I got this right first. This didn't happen overnight. This took me years. I've been spending the last 4.5 years working on this, and this has only happened in the last 9 months. I'm going to give you 3 things that will help you with your depression. Maybe more than 3. Let's start with 3. Honesty. Be honest with people. Be honest with yourself first. Don't do shit you don't want to do. Don't say yes to things you don't want to say yes to. Listen to that inner thing that goes, I don't like it. And do more things that actually bring you joy. If you want to go out and pick asparagus in the spring because that's what you like to do, but for whatever reason that calms your fucking mind, go pick some fucking asparagus. Just go do it. But don't sit there and go, man, I wish my life would get better, and sit on your fucking ass and not do anything. You out there have to do that. You have to get up off your lazy fucking ass, put your fucking cell phone down, get off social media, and work on yourself. I'm more than willing, if people want to email me, ask me questions on how I did it, why I did it, what do I do, how do I continue to do it. I will share that experience only if those people are willing to help themselves. If you're not willing to help yourselves, don't waste my time. Time is precious, folks. You have a limited amount. Don't waste your time on people, places, things, anything that you have no desire to do. Just say no, not to drugs, but to things you do not want to do. And if those are drugs, say no to drugs, whatever. You get the point. I'm a fucking comedian, guys. Not really. Never went on stage and told jokes, but I think I could write them. I think I'd be pretty good at writing jokes. What you have is enough. Look around and be like, I got enough. Should be grateful for this shit. Look at fucking Hollywood. You think those miserable bastards, even though they're stars with all that fame and fortune, are happy? They have they're paying a price that you and I, middle 8 class folk, don't understand. Probably can't even. You might not be willing to do it. But that's for another live stream. If we want to go down the dark abyss of what those people in Hollywood have to do. And I've already talked about it. Guys like the Harvey Weinsteins, suck a few dicks, you get to the top, you do what you gotta do for the fame. I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth that stain on your essence, your soul, your inner self? Think about that. Listen to your inner self, folks, because it doesn't usually steer you wrong. And there's a big difference between impulsive thinking and doing shit just because, and then really sitting back and pondering your options, that if you make this choice, this will happen, this could happen. Is this the best choice for me today? And I said it before, better choices today equal better results tomorrow. Nothing I say is new. But if you take all the shit that's been said since the dawn of man and writing and actually applied it to your life, instead of thinking you know better than generations of the world and philosophers and people who found peace and calm and all that shit, if you think you know better, then you, my friend, are fucked up and have an insane ego problem that needs to be popped. Just reality check, motherfucker. Not everybody's willing to do it, though. Not everybody's willing to have that reality check because, again, like I said before, the truth and reality are not pleasant, especially when it's the truth about yourself. Because if you really care and you're not a psychopath who has no feeling or emotion, and you have a soul and a conscience, and you start to actually care, you will look at that and feel your own pain. And when you've had enough pain, maybe you do something about it, and maybe you don't. Maybe you reach out for some help, maybe you don't. But I can tell you right now, the answers don't lie. Pills don't. If you go to your doctor, therapist, fucking psychiatrist, what the fuck ever, and you're only talking to them for 5 minutes, and the first thing they fucking do is say, oh, we're going to give you this. We'll write your prescription for that. Say fucking no. No. Unless you've exhausted every fucking possible non-narcotic option there is first. And even then, I still don't think it's a good idea. Because I don't think people are as mentally ill as the society is. They're mentally ill because we made people this way. Look pretty, eat less, you want stuff, buy, buy, buy. As soon as Christmas is over, it's Valentine's Day. Don't you want to buy the heart-shaped box for the one you love? And if you don't want to, don't you want to buy flowers? You're supposed to tell this person you love them. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Don't buy into the bullshit. I did at one point because I was young, dumb, naive. I had to figure out everything the hard way. So since I figured it out the hard way, I'm trying to give you guys some pointers, some little suggestions to avoid potholes and pitfalls. But if you don't want it, fucking, it's your life. Go test the waters, see how that works. And then come talk to me. Everybody have a great afternoon. Be sure to like, share, comment on this video. Email me at twoyaga@gmail.com. And if you have questions, concerns, you want to know more about what I'm doing or talk, email me, send me a question. I'd love to hear it because, yeah, I'll go into more detail about what I know and what I don't know. And I don't know anything. But I do know the answer doesn't lie in material things, pills, and consumerism. Have a great afternoon.